why are they so desperate? I shouldn't have said it, I know. But you know, in every election there's always a preparation and a strategy. You know, so I think we're in safe hand. Only that most of them are just being very folly and very foolish with their whatever. If you say you want to manage everything now, you know, people will just be afraid. They think that you are going to cut them off from the source of ill fun. I think that this strategy of even stopping it is a very good strategy. The way I think God has a hand in it. He also let those interviews go far. To let them prepare. Yes, even the one we did on the other one too, on our page, a lot of people shared it. One of those 5 international languages. It was fantastic, you know. So God bless, sir. We're going to talk. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Well, it's a very, very important opportunity to relate with Nigerians and to talk with us on issues that are affecting our national life. And I think at this very pretty time, I would like to do this video to intervene in my own little way and not to be too rigid. I will try as much as possible to be flexible and to talk within my own layman orientation and opinion of what is going on in our country. From the balcony of my house today, we have to attend to some of the issues that is affecting our country as a journalist and as a blogger and as a young Nigerian and as someone who is opinionated and is very familiar with trends in my country. I would like to do this video to talk to countrymen, especially our very young people across Nigeria, our young people in the south, in the west, and in the northern part of the country. The postponement of the election might have come, and it might be a big shock to some of us, and it might also be a kind of a taxing challenge. But what do we need to do at this time? All we need to do is to sit down and ask ourselves a pertinent question. Do we need to be independent of political harlotry? Do we need to be independent of economic slavery? Do we need to be independent of intellectual paralysis? What does President Buhari's regime or presidency represent for Nigerians, especially young people? And what does the other people that are desperate to come and take the airwaves, those that are coming to wrestle power from this regime, what do you think their regime is going to benefit all of us? Once, let me say this from the layman perspective. For you to crumble an old oligarchic economy and bring in or building a new economic power plant, there is a need for there to be rigors. There's a need for there to be constraints. There's a need for there to be challenges. Let's start from the issue of our schooling. When we go to school, even right from our primary, secondary, up to the university stages in life, you discover that there is always a time for preparation of exam, and there's always a time for sitting for exams. You never carry out an exam without preparation. You never carry an exam without going through the challenge, the rigors of going through pains before the games. President Buhari has come to break down the old walls. And when we say the old walls, they are practically the old walls of corruption, the old walls of mismanagement, the old wall of intellectual slavery, the old walls of economic slavery, even the old walls of intellectual paralysis. And when I say intellectual paralysis simply means the ability for you not to know what is good for you at the right time. I have heard sermons by church leaders. I was shocked early in the week when I saw one Bishop Abidoye, a servant of Bishop Oyedepo, telling Nigerians, telling electorates not to vote for people who kill Christians, not to vote for people who are Islamic fundamentally. So, point of correction. The issue of Islamic killings or the issue of hard men killing or the issue of Christian killing does not arise here. What is happening in the core north has been something that has been happening ages. If you visit your library, you will see that it was there in the time of President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. It was there in the time of President Goodluck Jonathan. In fact, this same menace was there in the time of President Umar Yar'Adua. It is not a new day syndrome. That President Buhari is even trying to battle it, and if we look at the statistics clinically, you see that the issue of bombings in northern Nigeria has even gone to a very, very minute level. It has come down tremendously, if not for some of the pockets of attacks in some little strategic places, and which with time will also be eliminated. So why are you saying that somebody who is killing Christian, why will you come out with such a campaign of calumny to discredit a regime that appears to be getting things done? Let me tell you, in the last few years, a lot of people have also learned how to live their life practically. We are not in a time of wastages again. We are not in a time of intellectual garrulosity. We are not in a time of garrulous approach to things again. The churches are affected, the bank system is affected, the political class are affected. Two terrible things that has affected the elites of our time. And I want young people to take note of this. President Buhari has implemented just 2 policies, which by my own layman orientation, I understand that has really affected the level or the lifestyle of the rich and the mighty. And for God's sake, what is all about this? What is the Renaissance all about? The president has brought out the policy of treasury single account, which I understand has affected some people in some systems in terms of finance, in terms of the way funds are being harnessed and being spent in the past. Now most of the ministries have to go through just one account. They have to have just a single account that take in finance, take in money for disbursement. So there's no room for garrulous spending. And let me also call your attention to the fact that that alone is creating chaos in the political class. They are not really happy because there is no free fund. In the past, I mean, you will have seen a lot of mundane activities taking place, people dashing money just anyhow. But during the regime of President MUHAMMADU BUHARI, people are now thinking of how to work their ass out. People are now thinking of how to use their brain to get their economic independence. People are not looking out to handouts again. We are no more in the regime of rent seekers. We are no more in the regime of handlers, I mean economic handlers. We are no more in the regime of giving out funds just for the purpose of spending. People are now coming to realize what it means to manage their resources, what it means to create their own independence, what it means to create their own business, what it means to create their own lifestyle. It will only take a structured governance. It will only take a politically correct governance. It will only take an economically focused governance. It will only take a very progressive-minded governance to give people their own power. In the past, people lived on handouts from politicians, from religious bodies. Right now, why are the majority Christian leaders even angry with the president? People like Bishop Abidoye, who was so emphatic in his message a few days ago, telling Christian members of his congregation to vote. Are you telling us that we should vote for corruption? Are you telling us that we should vote for the old order? Are you telling us that we should not go through this pain for us to get into the limelight of success? Are you telling us to go back to the old days? Okay, now, before now, we had, even transparency was no more in the church. The church made a lot of fortune, they made a lot of money from tithes, from all sorts of offerings, and nobody accounted for those money. The only thing we saw was the bishop economy, the G.Os economy. We saw churches who are raising estates, big estates. We saw churches who are raising so much money, throwing money around. Bishop buying private jets, buying exotic cars, and it does not reflect in anything that has to do with humanity around them. It was about big shoes. It was about expensive wristwatches. It was about flamboyant dresses. It was about exotic cars. It was about exotic acquisition. What is the role of the religious body? What is the role of Christian leadership? What is the role of Islamic leadership? Is to buttress the bottom line. It is to take care of humanity. It is to help the society. The LCM of church, the LCM of gathering of men, is to help humanity. When people are sick, is for the church to bring out to help them, to support with charity. In fact, in advanced countries around the world, the church and the religious body is all about charity. But it is only in Nigeria we've seen men of God who boast, telling us they are the richest, telling us that they are the biggest, telling us that they are the smartest, the best dressed, the most cherished. And to now come to the very, very unreasonable aspect of it. The other day you saw the way a bishop had to follow a prominent politician who is now trying to challenge this regime to our former president, the highly respected Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, begging for political relevance. Where is this done? Even in advanced country, it is not done in the open. But because of the economic policy of President Buhari, right from the port, that stopped people from importing things without pay. You call yourself a religious leader, you import, and you want to have a duty-free because the president is your friend. But under Mr. Buhari, things are changing. The president said everybody that is doing a business must pay for import duty. If you have your jet parked in the airport, you must pay for the parking space. Not that you tell us that you are an outlandish bishop, you are a man of God, and you don't have to pay. That is total rubbish. In fact, that is roguery. We cannot take this anymore. And I don't mind if you abuse me. I don't mind if you crucify me. I also don't mind if you appreciate the fact that I'm coming out at this time in my country to intervene and to tell you that President MUHAMMADU BUHARI, no matter his shortcoming, is on the right track. He's trying to create a fundamental path for all of us so that we can pick up ourselves from the lowest rung up to the zenith. Don't forget that in the past, the people at the zenith have made life so very malicious, made life so very difficult for some of us at the grassroots. They created policies that didn't guarantee success. The church was all about taking. Before you sit down in the church, you have 5, 10 envelopes begging for patronage. They tell you to contribute for building. They tell you to contribute for the pastoral and pastoral duties. They tell you to contribute for edifices and all sort of amenities that does not even concern the ordinary man. They tell you to do all sort of rubbish that at the end of the day does not amount to anything good. But who is fooling who? At the end of the day, you find out that most of these resources are channeled into private enterprise. In fact, the famous bishop I mentioned at the time, even had a case with the Security and Exchange Commission. He had a case whereby some people duped him. Because why? He bought shares running into millions of dollars. When the man of God started to invest in shares, buying large shares, what is it for? Even the Bible that said we should pay tithe, said we should pay tithe to the Levite, because the Levite have no part in what we do. It simply means that what we do, the Levite cannot do. We do business, the Levite should not do business. We invest, the Levite should not invest. We're entrepreneurs, the Levites are not entrepreneurs. They are to sit in the church, commune with God, and pray for the development of humanity. But only in Nigeria, we have seen the class of Levites investing in heavy investment in airline business, in real estate business, in oil and gas business, in education business, and to make the matter worse, they also fence out the children of the poor with very horrible, outrageous amounts for school fees and all the rest. They make you know that it's a class struggle. You come to their church as ordinary people, but when it comes to the benefits of your congregational value, they fence you out. They give you what you cannot pay. They tell you you are poor. But when you are all congregating and you are all contributing the money to the same basket, you are one. You are the same humanity. But when it comes to them giving you the gratitude of your relationship, the gratitude for coming together, they fence you out. But Mr. Buhari has come to put everything in place. It looks like everything is hard. And you ask me, but he's nepotistic. Of course, everybody has his own shortcoming. If your brother appears to be the one that has the intelligence to do one or two things, it behoves on you that you use that person. Of course, I might not be in a very better position to defend him on some of his shortcomings. But in terms of rigidity of economic policy, in terms of rigidity of social life living, in terms of rigidity of getting people to start acting according to reality, I think I give kudos to President MUHAMMADU BUHARI. Under his regime, things have started changing. People are now looking into their bottom line. People are now cutting their coat according to their size. People are no more flamboyant. In the last 2-3 years, how many times have you seen people throwing around Ashwebi at outrageous prices? People are now managing their economy. People are now managing their economy. They are looking inward. But now you are coming and you are now saying you want to vote. Okay, all of you that want to vote for the other man, don't you have libraries? Have you visited your libraries? Did you read the history of the past? Did you read the history of the past? How he ran government under his boss? Did you read the book that his boss wrote about him? The testimonies. If you read the testimony, then you should be ashamed of your decision to throw in your value for such a product. You should be ashamed of your intellectual sagacity. If you are not intellectually paralyzed, you should be ashamed of your intellectual value to have supported such a bad product. I'm not saying you should not waste your vote, but I'm telling you that credibility matters. And let me also tell you, Mr. Buhari or President MUHAMMADU Buhari is not behind killing, if you know him very well. For him to have even arrested an Islamic leader, a fundamentalist of many years, and kept him in jail for so long, to the extent that the court are even giving verdicts and is telling you that national security is important. It shows that he's not an Islamic fundamentalist. It shows that he is a puritanic military, or let me even say a puritanic administrator. He is an elder statesman in class and attitude. He understands what it means to run a state. He might be old, he might be advanced in age, he might be feeble, but the experience is still here. Let me tell you, I'm appealing to young people, to the poor, to the ordinary people, that this is your time to grab your own economy. Stop loafing around. Stop listening to the church. The church of the past was built on corruption. I am a Christian, and for a long time, I have to leave the church because I've discovered the church has now become a haven for competition, material, financial competition, where people don't even look at the values of the Bible again, where people say bless you, and in most cases you are not blessed. Somebody is telling you bless you. All he wants to do to you is to take and take and take. In my former parish now, a shepherd just left. A shepherd who is known and renowned for his name. And in the vicarage of the shepherd, where we all contributed money to buy this and that to make life better for him as a shepherd, instead for him to leave those utensils, those beds, those cupboards, and all other items that we bought for him as a church, he was alleged to have started pilfering some of those items. He pilfered them to his next post. He was posted out. Until today, the church is so very angry, the parish is angry with his action. And this is a very, very responsible, respected son of a founder of that same church. If you and I can search around the church, you will see things that are going on. So much dirty things, especially among men of God. Men of God are now, if you call the name pastor now, you have to run 10 miles away, because pastor is now associated with fraudulent, with 419, with melancholic attitudes, with roguery, with fraud, and everything that is unmentionable. The name pastor has been so bastardized that when you open the paper, you see them involved in all sorts of fraudulent acts. Yesterday, a young pastor of the largest church in Nigeria was telling us how a regional pastor has almost 8 properties in a particular area of Lagos, and that even right now, the money they are making, they are even afraid to even send the money to the headquarters. They don't even send the money again. They just make money and share money, because the level of cheating from the headquarters have been so alarming, to the extent that some of them are saying no. Now such bishop will now come, such person will now tell you not to vote for President Buhari. No, you have to think deep. You have to ask yourself, what is the value of my going to church? I mean, are you getting charity for your familiarity with the church? The church is about take. In America, in advanced country, the church gives people. The church gives you peace. In fact, they even do economic enhancement program for people to survive, to succeed. The church has built a lot of interesting individuals around the world. In the 80s, in the 60s, sorry, in the 50s, the church brought missionary activities to Africa, and a lot of people were empowered. But now the church is abusing a government that appears to be putting things straight. Well, I don't know the divide you belong, but all I need to do, what I want to do from the back end of my house here in Lagos, is to intervene and tell you that you should think deep before we have our chance again with another election coming Saturday, February 23rd. The postponement might be a blessing in disguise. Yes, some of us were angry, some of us were not really happy, but that postponement might be a blessing in disguise. I want you to ask yourself that today, is the bank able to cheat you again with nonsense IPOs that they bring out year in, year out, whereby you pay in, you cannot get your credentials, you cannot even get the papers that says that you've bought shares. Now you ask yourself, for many years you've been going to your church, what has been the value of relationship between you and your church, apart from prayer? Have they been able to come out and say, we made XYZ amount of money this Sunday, we made XYZ amount of money this month, or we made XYZ amount of money this year, and this is how much we are paying or we are spending on charity, we are spending on education, we are spending on economic development of church members? Have they been able to do that to you? Especially you Pentecostalists. Ask yourself this valuable question. Why is the church angry with President Buhari? So you ask yourself, what is in it for me? If I'm a church member and things are not going on well, and the church will look the other side. I'm bringing on this message because I know the Church of God is the biggest section of electorate in Nigeria. We have the mass of people, and I am very, very shocked the way a lot of the pastors are coming out to discredit President Muhammadu Buhari. I'm not sure that the president is happy that the economy is hard. The president is not the author of hardship for our economy. It is the policy of the regime that is turning things around that make everything to be hard. Let me give you an example. You are a father, you've traveled out of the country for years, and your wife, as the mother of the children, every weekend gives them a substantial amount of money, maybe in the range of 10,000, to enjoy themselves, to go to eat, to go to eateries, to live the life they feel to the hilt. Then suddenly you come as a father and you look at the economic balance sheet of your family, and you also look at the moral implication of giving them such humongous amount of money week in, week out, and you say, no, madam, you cannot keep giving these people 10,000 every week for pleasure. Let's start giving them 2,500 pocket money so that we can be able to attend to XYZ project in the house. I am sure, and I know that you are sure that those children will never be happy with you, because what you rescheduled their lifestyle, especially the economic lifestyle, but for a purpose, for a good purpose. Eventually, in years to come, they might understand. Now you told them, don't spend 10,000 to eat freebies or to eat cookies, but with the remaining 7,500, you could have a piano lesson in the house, you could have a skill acquisition lesson in the house. That's the kind of thing President Muhammadu Buhari has come to do to Nigerians, to stop the moment of foolish spending, to stop the culture of outrageous financial spendings, to put everybody on the track of his life, to let you to look inward and ask yourself, where am I being cheated? Are you not surprised that it is just within these 3 years that the president ruled this country, that the Christians are now asking their bishops, their pastors, their G.Os, that, hey, what are you doing with our tithes? This is the first time that the question is spinning very hard across the Christendom. Are you very aware that a bishop, a pastor recently went to America and was telling people to come and buy a white handkerchief for $5,000, and he was saying it confidently? But for the first time, people were able to say no. They were able to tell their heart the truth, that what he's saying is not from the throne of grace, but from the throne of fraud. This same pastor, his private jet was caught a few years ago in South Africa, carrying a lot of amount of cash in dollars to purchase something that is unpurchasable for the regime that was in power then. And today he still has the effrontery to carry mic in gatherings to ask for outrageous amount of money. For the first time, people are now looking critically into all these issues, the issue of fraud in the church. So when you see bishops coming on YouTube, coming on television, coming on radio, coming on newspapers to tell you not to vote for President Buhari, look at their lifestyle. Ask the question, who is this bishop? What does he stand for? Is he a bourgeoisie or a Marxist? Is he somebody that looks into the crisis of the moment and trying to attend to the challenges of humanity, or somebody that comes on the pulpit and gallivants and talk lousy and loudly celebrating his mundane achievements? Is he somebody that comes to shakara you with his suit, with his wristwatch, telling you about 4 private jets that he owns, or 2 or 3 private jet limousines? I mean, these are very obscene scenarios. These are very obscene postulations from our men of God. The church of God must, according to the Bible, be a humble uphold of worship, where people should be able to get their spiritual bearing and, if possible, their economic bearing. Not where people are taxed and taxed and taxed and taxed, and you now say Jesus is not a poor man. Of course, Jesus is not a poor man, but does that amount to you outlandishly asking from people and taking them for granted? The president has come to rearrange the economic situation of this country. The president has come to rearrange the social situation. Some of the civil servants that live on fraud, and some of them who lived on freebies in the past, are now adjusting their coats. A civil servant whose amount or take-home pay is not more than 250,000 or even 180,000 in a month could afford to have 7 kind of cars in his or her garage, and each car worth 10 million. Then you are not asking questions. Instead, you are sharing. A politician who comes in year in, year out, to represent a particular constituency. Yes, you look at the roads are crying for repairs. You look at the environment, the community, you see a lot of thugs, drunkards, lotto addicts, ogogoro addicts, smokers hanging around. There is no direct impact of his representation on the life of the people. And all he does is to wear very beautiful, lovely agbada, expensive wristwatch, and drive a Maybach, or drive a Range Rover, or drive one exotic car and the other. And during the election, he comes to share little peanuts amount of money, 200 naira, 500 naira, 1,000, and in most cases, a packet of Indomie, which is very ridiculous. The other day, we were somewhere in a coastal area, and these convoys of cars, of a political aspirant were passing, and you know the demeaning thing, some of them wind up in AC, and from their car they will wind down and throw pieces of indomie to people on the street. This is very horrible. There was a time I had the privilege of moving around with a woman leader of a particular party in Lagos. There was a by-election in one of the areas, one of the constituencies in Lagos, and we were to do a media thing with this woman, but suddenly, because of how it is, we found ourselves in a car with some other women. What were they looking for? They were traveling, they were going to Ogun State, the United Food in Songo area, to go and buy large carton of indomie to share for people for the by-election. And the funniest aspect of it is that when we were in that car, some women were advising her that, mommy, why can't you just buy gari and let's pack it in small packs and give it to them, so that we can make it gari and put small granules, so that they can just go home and drink. And the man said, no, let's give them indomie. Indomie is still better. It's more well packaged, so that they can just go home. One day one can see, one day and that statement really irritated me. I was like, what? Is this what these politicians have reduced the life of people, ordinary people on the street to use just indomie to buy a vote of 4 years? So you mean you will use a packet of indomie to sell your votes to people who are going to run you aground in 4 years? So you mean you could take a small packet of gari and a granite, you drink, you eat just once, and you face the nightmare for 4 years? You mean civil servant could bring out money from some illogical sources and spread around, and you take the money and you now say, hey, babao, and you keep doing that for 4 years, and you drive on the road, you cannot even drive without turning your steering, because the pit holes are not even pit holes again. They are now wells. Wells that can take large water. So you run into it and your tire is gone. A lot of horrible sightseeing around the town. You mean you would take indomie and live your life to be miserable for 4 years? That was what I saw in that car. They were deliberating. Another woman said, oh, let's give them small semo. And the woman said, no, we can't give them semo, to be too rigorous for them to prepare semo. Indomie is the best. We went to United Food to buy the indomie. The man that's also even packed the 100 packs said he cannot pack it because last month we catch him in Lagos. So eventually they went back to Songo Market and bought some other ridiculous items just to give them and take their vote. Now President Buhari has come to stop that nonsense. The president is very, very angry with how the life of Nigerians have been run in the last 16 years under the opposition party that is trying hard to take the power now. If you like to go back to that era, that satanic era of darkness for 16 years, if you like to go back to that satanic era of economic mismanagement, if you like to go back to that satanic era of cheating from bankers that will sell out IPOs and you will not be able to take your credentials, if you want to go back to that satanic eras of funky pastors that come on the altar to tell you how much they bought their shoes, their wristwatches, and acquired their private car, their exotic car and private jet, then you should vote out President Buhari. But if you want to be one of those who is going to discover yourself, or who is going to discover himself or herself for the purpose of economic buoyancy, I think you should have a second thought. President Buhari is there. We also have valuable candidates like the young Omoyole Sowore. If you say you are even angry with President Buhari, instead of giving your vote to the other one that look like the syndrome, that look like a corruption syndrome, like a symbol of corruption, why can't you look at the young man, Mr. Omoyole Sowore? But to me, I think the elder statesman we need right now is President MUHAMMADU Buhari. But if perchance you say you are angry with him, then you look at any other, not the old order. But I'm sure that with President MUHAMMADU Buhari, this country is on the right track. Don't tell me that hard men are killing in the north. It has always been there for years. President Obasanjo fought same challenge. He fought it forcefully and dutifully. President Jonathan couldn't even handle a 10% of that challenge. He was messed around by the insurgents of the north. President Buhari has been able to reduce it by at least 65%. And if we only give him a second chance, I'm sure he's going to nip it in the bud. He is not a fundamentalist. If not, he won't lock Ezazeki and crush the Ezazeki challenge in Kaduna. I'm not saying that it is a good thing that the man is kept in prison, but that is a test for you to know that President Buhari is not one of those you think he is. He's not a fundamentalist. Secondly, you saw that the very respected Pastor William Kumuyi met President Buhari recently. Pastor Kumuyi of the Deeper Life Church is a very respectable and responsible man of God. He is not a flamboyant man of God. He is a focused man of God. In fact, his church is one of the 4 Pentecostal churches that are still being run according to Christian dictates, that are not flamboyant. They don't take money to build edifices, outrageous edifices. They are very well managed and their Christian values is intact in the last 4 decades. He went in with his wife to endorse President MUHAMMADU Buhari. That should tell you a story that the deep calls onto the deep. If a garrulous and very unreasonable mouth diarrhea bishop is telling you not to vote for President Buhari because they are not making more money again on Sunday, because people are now realizing that they have been fooled, then you should be able to look in between the line. If they lie to you that President Buhari is behind the killings, then ask yourself, how long have we been facing that in Nigeria? Go to your library, check the papers, find out the truth, and the truth will set you free. Stop listening to fraudulent and garrulous bishops. Check the history of the church in recent times. Why are there renaissances against the church across the world, especially the Nigerian church? Because there is no accountability. They don't tell you how much they make on Sunday. They don't tell you how much they make in a month. They don't even tell you how much they are making in a year. All you see is that the bishop owns a private jet now. All you see is that the bishop now controls 3, 4, 5 estates in his states. All you see is that the bishop wears beautiful, lovely suits. You say you raise a great commission, but there's no accountability. How can you raise a commission without accountability? Who are you? And you say you're a man of God, you have anointing, and nobody should talk to you. Then who are you? Even Jesus in his lifetime was accountable to his followers. He gave accountability of all activities in his ministry. So please, I want you to take a second chance. Take a second look. Tell yourself the truth. Look at the system. Ask yourself, can I be cheated again? Am I good for myself? The only people that will not want President Buhari, of course, and I know you are not in that class, are people that live on others for free money, people that love freebies, people that cannot think to work, people who raise pity parties, people who say, hey, I'm not sure to buy to the big government is sure. People who keep pitying themselves, and I don't think you should be in that business. Find something to do. There are a lot of things you can do. If only you can find out for yourself. If only you can break down the arrogance on your elbow. There are a lot of things you can do. Nigeria is a very better country now. Find out in the technology sector, find out in the agri sector, find out in the job market. There are things you can do. If you are fully engaged and you can use your intelligence, your intellect, you will not be talking of President MUHAMMADU Buhari. You will not even be bothered about the political setting. You will only be bothered from the perspective of adding value, not adding a noise. February 23 is coming. Think twice. Find out. Tell yourself the truth. Do you want to go back to the dark ages of corruption, to the dark ages of economic violence, to the dark ages of societal violence, to the dark ages of church corruption, bank corruption, or you want to continue to the next level where the economy is going to be smoothed for you? Now, Jesus said that he will break down the temple in 3 days and he will raise it back. Buhari, President Muhammadu Buhari, has broken down the temple of corruption in Nigeria in 3 years. And now, in the next 3 to 4 years that is coming back, he's going to raise it. Check out even some of the high roads across the countries. They are now being done by the government. Some projects are in the ongoing. Little thing, there are funds, there are N-Power funds going on. Very soon there's going to be a bank of for entrepreneurs, whereby you can go in with your ideas and get money. There's going to be activities in the bank of industry. Stand up from your chair, find out, make research, go online. There are things that you and I can benefit from this government. I'm not saying President Buhari is the best, but for this season of economic emancipation, for this season of political emancipation, for this season of intellectual emancipation, for this season of social development, we need President Muhammadu Buhari. This is my card, my voter's card. I will do all my best to return the best candidate to power. Please don't go for the other party. If by chance you feel offended with what this regime is doing, think deep, search your heart, and you find out that your anger is not directed to the right channel. There are a lot of things that have been wrong with the country in the past. This government is only trying to change those things and to put us on the right track. Take your voter's card, go out on February 23rd. Vote for the president that will not allow politicians to loot you dry. Vote for the president that will not allow church to cheat you again. Vote for the president that will not even allow mosque to cheat you. Vote for the president that will put things in the right track for the purpose of a good life in the long run. God bless all of you. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless our intention. Goodbye.